Works best for you. I'm going to share with you what has worked best for me, but during this power hour, you may think of these things that we were talking about going, okay, this really is my sole purpose. Maybe you get into some literature or a video or a podcast and you're like, this speaks to me. I love this. I'm excited about this. I want to keep doing more of this. And the power hour is just not cookie cutter. That's what I'm just going to leave it at that. And you have to take action. A major reason for why so many people are depressed, feel unfulfilled in this world, is because their lives are not in harmony and balance. I can tell you, I have 100% been there multiple times, and I know I'm not saying this to anybody that hasn't been. They may excel in some areas, but if they neglect other components of a happy life, it eventually catches up with them. No amount of money can compensate for poor health, so getting rich by working long, stressful hours and ignoring your physical body is a bad idea. I had to read that verbatim because it's so powerful. Because if you're not taking care of this person, what's the point? And you see some of these, highly successful people, but they're burnout, they're hating life. It's not okay. And so it's figuring out, okay, how do I create balance? And I think we'll always be on a mission to find balance. I don't know if we ever truly just like, woo, I'm zen, everything's great. I can stand on my head in yoga, that kind of stuff, and that makes everything perfect. P.S. I do yoga, which is kind of comical to myself, and I did for the first time a handstand. But I will tell you, it was because of strength training. It was because I was just dying laughing. But anyways, that's a complete side note. But getting back to spending time on you, I can't stress this enough. This is where I personally have flourished and grown the most, was when I took the time for myself, because I am valuable and worth it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
If you're working for a company that won't let you take care of yourself, should you get the hell out of Dodge?
Probably. I'm going to give you a straight answer. Yeah. We'll talk more.
That's what I'm beginning to feel.
And that's a powerful thing to feel, because when you're sitting in a job that isn't fulfilling you and you're not getting up passionate every day, why do it? You're putting in time for something that's not filling you, and guess what? You're probably not filling them either. I mean, I wouldn't say you're doing a bad job, but I wouldn't say you're doing your potential, because how can you? That's hard. That's a hard realization, because just like these dentists, doctors, chiropractors, you get in this room and they're hating what they're doing, but they've spent a whole lifetime and they should be retiring right now. It's tough.
Sometimes the corporate structures they simply won't allow you to take care of yourself. They want you to do what they want.
Yeah,
And
there's an agenda.
good for you.
There's an agenda. And the thing about it is finding those companies that get it. I'm not talking like they're cushioning the job, like everything's just roses. You got to do work. You got to provide value, and in turn they'll provide value back in a different form. And so it's a perfect comment, because we find people, even through this process of just starting exercise, they're not happy with life and themselves. I know we talk about throwing these weights around, having a good time, and those workouts are a good time for the most part, but it really comes back to your fulfillment in life. And a lot of this is a stress reliever for a lot of people. It's a chance to get the endorphins going, but spending time on you, but this may be able to be done outside. So we're gonna work through this though. So it comes back to vision and purpose. So much of success in life comes merely from showing up and being proactive. I'm gonna give you guys an awesome example of showing up and just being proactive. It's been how many years ago? It's either 4 or 5 years ago. I joined a women's organization, and I was told that this is the place to be. If you want to be around professional women who get business done, and you want to be around these people that are highly successful, get in this group. So what did I do? I joined this group. I walked into my very first meeting, I think I was 27, 28 years old at that time. I walk in yoga pants and my polo. And I looked like, what, 13 maybe? I'm just gonna roll with that. But so I'm walking into this professional setting of predominantly 40 to 60-year-old, highly successful, at least what I perceived as successful business owners. How serious do you think I was taken? Not. It was like, who's this chick walking in here? And it was a really tough thing for me because everybody's dressed in the nice, suits and dresses and bedazzled and, hair's perfect. And, mine was probably pulled back in a ponytail or something. And, it was what it was. But I kept showing up. Year after year, I renewed my membership. I got involved. I actually did what I said I was going to do in the time I said I was going to do it. And I did it consistently. Now today, I sit on their board of directors at 32 years old, and we'll see where that goes. I might have just signed up for a bunch of work, but it's nice to be around this level of people from a woman and owning your business. There's just something about it. Sorry, dudes in the room, I am a bra burner, but it's one of those things. And so I didn't get there by chance. I didn't get there because I'm lucky. I didn't get it because I paid my way there. I did it because I showed up and I was consistent about what I did. And that's what life is like. Doing your power hour every morning is part of showing up. It's taking time for you personally. Most people wait for something to go wrong before they focus on improvement. So most people have to have that heart attack scare before they come see us. And that's scary because some people won't make it through that heart attack scare. And we have to start now because we don't know if we have tomorrow. So the benefits. To begin to see powerful transformations in your life, as you apply insights, to begin to see powerful transformations in your life as you apply insights are gains. So transformations start to happen in you when you consistently practice what we call a power hour. And to overcome the scarcity mindset and enjoy greater abundance. There's some words that have become very common in my vocabulary, and those words are producer and consumer. A producer is someone that produces things and creates things, provides value. A consumer is that person looking for the next deal, what's the cheapest way I can do something, what's the shortest cut that I can go. Be a producer in life. Produce something of value. The other words are scarcity and abundance. When we live in scarcity, we're scared of failure. We're scared that we're not going to be able to pay the bills. We're scared that the world's going to fall in. We're going to have another recession. That's scarcity mindset. Guess what happens in scarcity mindset? Not a lot. Yeah, would you say, Nick? Yes, exactly. Scarcity mindset holds us captive. I have been there. I have been in scarcity mindset. There was a moment when we purchased this building that I didn't know if we could finish it. And that was a scary time because we would have lost everything. But we had to think and know and trust what we were doing was in the best interest for why the goal and the reason, which was to provide a facility for our clients, to also have a better facility for our staff. And also moving it out of my home was kind of a big deal. So for anybody that knows, we used to have our home and business on top, so it was too much. But there were a lot of things. But when you live in abundance, you're always creating wealth. You're always and I'm not talking just monetary, I'm talking wealth as in knowledge. When you live abundantly, it's positive. I mean, it's one of those things, and I have learned to deal, well, not perfectly, but I have a monkey mind. There is this voice that talks and tells me all day long, you can't do that. You can't get up there. You can't go pitch that to that person. But why? No one's holding me back but myself. But this happens to all of us. There's this voice that's constantly saying, you can't do that. I mean, we get out here and do pull-ups and all kinds of crazy gizmos that, you know, all the time. Do you get up in front of that weight and say, I can't do this? And then your Fit Pro goes, yeah, you can. Through your voice, through that. Live in abundance. If you take one thing from me, live in abundance. And that's abundance of mindset, positivity. Don't live in scarcity. It's a horrible place to be in. Empowering guidance and inspiration to help you become more aligned in every aspect of your life. Moments of inspiration and insight will become increasingly frequent and more powerful. Do you know what happens at the dinner table when you work with your husband? You talk about all the things that happened at work that weren't so awesome. And it's hard, it's negative. But we don't focus on all the positive things that happened. But when we started implementing our power hour into our life, all of a sudden we had this whole third party, hey, guess what I just read today? Oh my gosh, did you see this? And it's opened up this whole nother vocabulary and talk that Tony and I have with each other, because sometimes it is hard. You're working with your spouse, you get to dinner, you're still talking about work, and you just never shut it off. The benefits are endless. I could write down 50 benefits to doing a power hour. And I promise you I will get to the point in how to do this, but I gotta build the picture of why we should even do this. The commitment. The commitment's gonna go back to your purpose. So you might have to get up a little bit earlier. And guess what? You might have to go. That is all positive. I mean, I don't need rainbows and butterflies, but I need positivity. Otherwise, you know, the world's gonna end. The 21 plus 21 equals 52 is it takes 21 days to develop a new habit. It takes 21 more additional days to reinforce that habit. So there's a lot of things around like 21-day fixes, 24-day challenges. There's a reason for that. But the secret sauce is after what happens, because you can do something for 21 days, you could change behaviors, but if you don't reinforce those behaviors with actions, you just did 21 days of awesomeness, but now what? So doing your power hour, I'm gonna ask you to commit minimum to 52 days of consistent power hours. That's the goal that I want you guys to set. Ironically, the people who have the most adamantly believe that they do not have time for the power hour are actually the ones who need it the most. Most people will deny their health and fitness every day of the week, but they're the ones that actually need it more than the people coming in the door. I talk to people a lot, and it's pretty scary, the condition of their health. And with the power hour, if you don't think you have time, we all get 24 hours. I get 24 hours, you get 24 hours. It's what we choose to do in those 24 hours, okay? And not every day is gonna be perfect. So not every day will be perfect. So I wanna share with you guys, and this was in a blog post that I put out late last night, or it wasn't 2, it was like 5 o'clock, but these books I wanna tell you why. And these are books that I want you guys to be writing down and getting in your library. I think one of the coolest things in a home is to see a library. And I get we do it more digitally now, and so do I, but seeing books in print is awesome. And this is what personally changed Tony and I's world. So what we did personally was we invested in books. We make our staff read books. Which is awesome. Then we get to discuss them. And it's actually really neat what comes out of those discussions. So the first one is John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. This book is awesome. Anything John Maxwell, I'm just a huge fan. You either love him or don't. But John Maxwell put this book out there to teach you to grow. There's all these laws that you go through, and it helps you become a better person. The second book is called The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews. Andy Andrews has got to be one of my most favorite presenters to listen to, minus John Maxwell. But He's more Christian based when he writes, but The Traveler's Gift, I won't give it all away, but basically this character gets, he's down and out, upset about his job. He might have lost his job, I'm not quite sure, but he gets in a car accident, goes into a coma, he's in the hospital. While he's in a coma, he goes through different periods of time. So if you like history, this one's awesome. He meets Abraham Lincoln, Anne Frank, Truman. He meets King Solomon. He meets, and there's all these stories about each of them, and he captures all these letters, and then these letters speak to him when he finally comes out of coma. He's in the hospital, now he has these letters. You know, it's a made-up story, but it has a really great rhythm, super easy to read. Andy Andrews will not be known for his complex plots and themes and all these things, but it's just very inspiring. Compound Effect, Darren Hardy, if you took one book today and read it, Compound Effect would be where you need to go. Compound Effect is about the things that you do every single day that build up to a lifetime of success. And guess what? They're not big epiphanies. Just like exercising, it's the little things that you do day in and day out that make the world of difference. Right, John? Wouldn't be 80 pounds down? Is it without the day to day to day to day to day? Yep. Entrepreneur Roller Coaster, if you're a business owner, this is a must. It speaks about every little trial, tribulation we go through. You almost laugh because you're like, oh my gosh, yes, I know. And it's a great, great read. The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. What's funny is 7 years ago, I tried to read this book. This was the first book I was given as a business owner, and I could not read it. I wasn't ready. I read it and I was like, this is stupid. And I put it off to the side. Well, guess what? About 4 or 5 years ago, this was the first book I read. It directly applied to me right now. I wanted to be a better leader right now. And bad thing is it doesn't just happen right now, but it's a book that just tells you, and this is good for anyone, because no matter what career you're in, you want to keep thriving and being better at who you are. Killing Sacred Cows is the reason for this presentation today. This is the owner of the company that we have invested in for consulting, and we've only been in it since March. And it has just been night and day. And so it's called Killing Sacred Cows. It's a whole different way to look at finances and the mindset around it. We took on quite a chunk in doing this place. And for a person who's never had debt, I didn't even have a credit card before we opened this business, which I don't know how I got through life not having one, but I didn't for whatever reason. And getting into this has been hard. It has been very hard to manage just the volume of finances. So the Energy Bus, John Gordon, this one is you're either on the bus or not. This is great for teams. So if you work in an environment with teams and just talking about the energy around the room, I mean, you know when that one person walks in the room and just sucks the life out of you, yeah, that person needs off the bus. So. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, can't talk enough about this book. This is basically just helping you not put a lid on yourself and understanding what capabilities you have in life. How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. Anything Dale Carnegie is awesome, anything that he's done. And it's really just understanding how to communicate with people. In the first, what is it? Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. We actually went to a whole mastermind about this. This is really for your salespeople. And it's really to understand people's needs. And, you know, if the gentleman at Nordstrom just bought a $500 suit, don't go try and sell him the sweater vest from the sale rack. Get him the nice, full-priced. So it's a misconception that we have, and that's just one really bad example, but that's a lot of what that book is. It's influencing people to do the actions that you want them to do. We influence people all day long by being inspiring and motivating. Beyond Entrepreneurship is one of your most basic business books. It talks about having the big, hairy, audacious goal, mission, vision, core values, very elementary stuff for business owners, but it's the basics. Last but not least, Psycho-Cybernetics. Do not purchase Dr. Maltz's. This copyright is what, from 1940 something. There's a different version that Dan Kennedy rewrote. And if you say, Aaron, you spit all these out, tell me them again, I will. But Psycho-Cybernetics is crazy. It's a plastic surgeon and what happened when he would fix a nose. And it was interesting when the person came to him that it was their choice, and when it wasn't their choice, meaning they were in a car accident and had a deformity and what happened. And it really talks about this, the mindset of what's happening. This is where Tony and I started with our power hours. How I route my day: this morning, got up at 5, I start reading at 5 o'clock, and it may be 10 minutes, it may be an hour. That's what works for me. That's not going to work for everybody. At first it was rude. That alarm goes off and I'm like, what? But then after that, I come and I work out Monday, Wednesday, Friday, minus this last Monday, but I've been pretty darn consistent. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I do the 6:30 a.m. workout, and that's just what works for me. I go home, get ready, and then start our day. You've got to find where this slides in. And I will tell you, you need to fuel yourself with books, audios that serve your sole purpose. Mine is obviously very driven in one direction. I mean, it's pretty obvious. But a lot of these books can be applied to your life, and that's why I wanted to share them with you. Tony's day is very similar. He doesn't get up as early as I do, but I enjoy that time alone. I'm with him all day long. I'm with people all day long, which I love. I mean, I love being around people, but I need that time for me. And my God, if that dog wakes up, I'm like, oh, I just need my time. But he's starting to get it. He's 4 months now, so we're getting there. So here's some structure and guidelines. You've got to be flexible because things are going to happen in life. What you do Monday through Friday may be different than what you do on Saturday and Sunday, or maybe in your practice you believe just to do it Monday through Friday. Set yourself up to be successful. You may do this at the end of the day before bed. That's your choice. Doesn't have to be an hour. I know I called it power hour, it just works, right? And I probably stole that from somebody, but the hour is irrelevant. If you read one paragraph and it impacted you, it's worth it. If you spend 10 minutes on this content, it's worth it. 60 minutes is if you have the time and you want to put it towards that. 5 to 7 days per week, exercise, read videos, watch videos, audios, masterminds, meditate. What you want to think about is mind, body, and spirit. So this isn't just fueling this. We got to do this stuff too. This is so important to our life. We are not physical enough. We have to be dedicated to our body and then the spirit. Whether you're Christian, Buddhist, whatever it is, you've got to spend time meditating. And this is the one where I'm really struggling. But I'm working on it. And it's hard. When someone told me to sit for 10 minutes and do the theater of the mind, I'm like, 10 minutes? I tried. I made it about 3. Someone else just told me to do 5, and I'm like, okay. But you know, I gotta do it full on. If you told me to do 10 to 60, I'd probably do 60. But you have to find that spot for you personally. Many people go a lifetime without ever taking the time to reflect and consciously improve their lives. We just punch the clock, we go through life, we go through the motions. Don't do that. Be different. Find that soul purpose, what's really driving you forward. Stay consistent. Morning has been proven to be most effective, but I'm not going to say everybody has to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning doing this. It's not a reality, and if you try to do what I do and it doesn't work for you, you're going to give up. find what works for you personally. I can't say that enough. So start slow with it. If you want to do it in the morning because that just sounds good to you, start with 15 to 30 minutes. Set that alarm clock and do it. Guess what? You're gonna have to go to bed a few more minutes earlier. That's the raw truth of it. And really think about, what is that TV show doing for me? Is it fulfilling me? Again, we've got shows about zombies and stuff, and I have no clue what they're even, I don't even know the names of the programs because it's just not what I personally choose to do. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, but just think about that. If you're trying to really fill your life, put it with things that are gonna make an impact on you. Don't hit snooze. That's hard. It's really hard. And I don't know why Steve Jobs or whoever did it, 9 minutes on the iPhone. What's up with that? Like, I don't understand that. Why do you get 9? Why not 10? Why not 7? So just don't hit snooze. It's a bad habit, because what are you gonna do? You're not really gonna go back into a real sleep. You're really not. You'll get into kind of a pseudo, and then it goes off again, and it's just annoying, especially if someone else is in bed with you. And then you'll start to just rationalize. You know, we can all do this all day long. Things to consider. When you get up earlier in the morning, you're not as rushed. You have time to yourself. You can get your breakfast in. I mean, there's so many things that can happen if you just get yourself up a little bit earlier. I go and speak at companies and I ask people, how many people eat breakfast? And you know, several hands did not go up. And I asked them why. Well, I've got to get ready, I got to get going, I'm not hungry, da 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 da, all these magnitude of answers. But if they would just get up a little bit earlier and not feel rushed. I mean, how many of us are always rushing? I hate rushing. It's if everything, and this is, you know, Tony hates me for this, but I could pick on him because he's not here right now, but I have to be structured in knowing what I'm doing. And it's not that I can't, you know, roll with it when things come up, but I don't like being rushed. And it's because of this practice starting 4 years ago of being intentional about my time. If you ask these guys about my calendar, practically down to going to the bathroom is on my calendar. I mean, I even put shower on there, right, Ray? So it's like, I have things set, and again, that works for me. Don't feel like you have to be Aaron, but you have to find that version for you. And you've got to make the time to be productive, have fewer distractions, and it's just setting a positive tone for the day. I can't tell you, the days that I read and go exercise, I'm a different person. And you guys know that from your workouts that you guys do. You're a different person. You feel better. You know you did something. Check, good. You know, for me today, that was my time. Because how much of our day do we give to others? A lot. We give and give and give and give, and sometimes it gets really exhausting. So we've got to have a plan. So what we're going to do is we're going to flip the sheet over, and we've got a lot of lines. And so in this, what we're going to do is we want to really dig deeper for the purpose, because if we don't know why we're doing something, what's the point? It's just like with your exercise, we always write goals. What are the goals? What's the reason why we're doing these things? So the reason I do, or will immediately start to do, my daily power hour is because. So what is the reason? What's your biggest challenge in doing a daily power hour? That's important to know. What's going to hold you back? Because then we can rebound it. I will overcome this challenge by solution. We're finding solutions. What would my life look like if I did a power hour every day? Right now, you may not know that answer because we don't know soul purpose. But you can start thinking in these power hours of what is it? What's driving me forward? And what specific long-term goals, objectives do I have in regards to my mind, my body, and my spirit? So we'll give you guys a couple seconds, and I encourage you to give this some thought. All right, guys, just going to wrap it up now. I know some of you guys are still writing, so please, continue or stay after here. I appreciate your guys' time in coming. This soul purpose stuff is deep, and I just scratched. I didn't even go as deep as we could have gone on it, but I want you to always keep in mind what your overarching purpose of doing your power hour is. What do you stand for? What do you live for? What value do you provide other people? Or what is that driving force of why you exist? I put this picture back up there for a reason, because this picture was a time that was really tough, even though it's so beautiful, and it's always looking and reaching after the symbolism of that. But there was a real struggle 4 or 5 years ago in Tony and I as people. From the outside looking in, everything looked great. And we were struggling really hard to be effective leaders, but it took us growing. And that's really what the Power Hour has done for us, is helped us grow into who we are, and we're never gonna stop. There's no such thing as final destination. I'll never be perfect. There's no such thing. And so the Power Hour is something that I've adopted into my life most days of the week. I won't tell you it's perfect, because it's not going to be. And it's from the reading for my mind, it's the exercise for my body, and now I'm missing that last piece of the spiritual side of it, but I'm excited to get that back in. So it's constant evolution, and truly and sincerely, all I hope this did was maybe inspire you to add just a little bit more to your life and what you do in that soul purpose journey. So I appreciate your guys' time tonight, and thank you.